Welcome to Language and Learning by Jeff Buck. This is TOEIC Reading 1, Unit 6, and the topic is Infinitives and Gerunds. Infinitives and gerunds. As usual, if you need to, you can stop the video to do any research or thinking or work that you need to relate it to this topic and the worksheet. All right, let's start with some words and expressions so you can listen and repeat. Express mail, keynote speech, resignation, assume, compensate, resign. Number 1, is Dr. Kenneth Roy giving the blank at the annual faculty dinner this year? So at dinners or major events, there are often people who speak. They give a speech, and the main person is the keynote speaker giving the keynote speech. Number 2, due to the scandal, CEO Munson must submit her by the end of the month. So scandal, problem, something bad that she did or was involved in. So she has to quit. She has to submit or give her resignation. Resignation is a noun. You see the word resign there. That's a verb. We'll use that later in a different sentence. Number 3, this package to Hong Kong has to be sent via blank by tomorrow morning. It's urgent, very important. Express mail. Okay. Okay, so number 2 and number 4 are similar, the same situation, but I already explained the difference between resignation and resign, and we use resignation, so there's another clue for you. Due to the scandal, CEO Munson must is followed by a verb, right? Resign by the end of the month. Okay, we have 2 more. Compensate and assume. Do not blank that your clients already know all of the details of the agreement, or that they will read the contract carefully. The contract carefully. You need to explain things fully and clearly to them. Do not blank. Assume, compensate. Both are verbs, so that doesn't really help you looking for that clue, the part of speech. Number 6, if you want the company to blank you for business expenses, you must submit all of your receipts. Okay, assume, to think, to imagine, compensate, to pay back. So you can see that number 6 is talking about money, business expenses, receipts. So that's compensate. And do not just imagine or think, assume. We say when you assume something, you make an ass out of you and me. You make an idiot out of us both. Okay, let's get into infinitives and gerunds. I'm going to sneeze, I think. Excuse me. So what are infinitives? If we look at these different forms of the verb eat, eat, to eat, eating, ate, and eaten, which one or ones are infinitives? Eat and to eat, and we'll talk about the difference in a little bit. So the infinitive form of a verb is just the basic form, unchanged. It's like the verb's name, okay? So different things happen or should happen with different combinations of verbs. So when you use verbs such as agree, decide, expect, happen, manage, pretend, promise, tend, want, etc., in combination with other verbs, those other verbs need to be in the to-infinitive form. So, and here, MV means main verb. So I promise to help you next Saturday. So promise, not help, promise help, but promise to help. I promise to help you next Saturday. The same thing with tend. Shelley tends to sleep. So after those verbs that you see there in red, you need the to form, the to infinitive. So let's practice that a little bit. So in 7 through 10, just choose any verb that is appropriate and put it in the to form. Maria agreed blank the work, to do the work, to submit the work, to check the work, whatever. Tim decided blank his job because he hated it, to quit, to leave. Number 9, my cousin is expecting me, him and his birthday, to visit, to call, etc. And 10, Sua always wants fish for dinner, to eat, to buy, to get, to cook, etc. So agree, decide, expect, want are followed by the to infinitive. All right. Next, we have some other verbs that are followed by an object and then a to infinitive. All right. And these verbs include advise, allow, expect, forbid, want, force, watch, etc. I'm only giving you some of the possible verbs. And as far as learning these, you just have to use them, practice them, look for them, and memorize them. That's just how it is. So we have example A and example A. It should be B and B. Okay, so the CEO advised his staff to improve the quality of their work. So we have the subject, CEO, the verb, the main verb, advised. So we have this verb advise, which is followed by an object, his staff, and a to infinitive, to improve. Advised his staff to improve. Verb, object, to infinitive. B, the bank robbers forced the manager to open the safe. So the subject is bank robbers or just robbers. The verb is forced, the main verb. The object is manager, and then the to infinitive, to open. All right. So I've made it really easy for you. Just choose a verb that works in the context and put it in the to infinitive form for 11 through 14. Ginger allowed her daughter blank some candy. So the subject, Ginger, the main verb, allowed, the object, her daughter, or just daughter, on the to infinitive, her daughter to eat, to get, to buy. Okay. Kelly expected everyone to do what to her party? To her party. To come to her party. Dmitri forbids his dog blank on the couch. To sit. To sleep. To eat. "14, Mario told his wife what ready at 8:30? To be ready, to get ready. All right. So we have the to infinitive, to eat, to come, to go, etc. And then we have the bare infinitive, meaning there's no to. So some verbs such as have, let, make, feel, see, hear, watch, etc. are followed by an object and a bare infinitive, no to. I don't know what happened here. Again, we have two A's. So Cassandra has her hairdresser cut her hair every 6 months. The subject is Cassandra. The main verb is has. The object is hairdresser or her hairdresser. And the bare infinitive is cut. And then Miss Chue feels you need to work harder. Feels you need. Okay, again, I've made it easy for you, hopefully. Just choose a verb that's appropriate for the context and put it in the bare infinitive form, meaning no change, no to. I will make her blank to the party. So the subject is I, the main verb is will with make, the object is her. A bare infinitive that works would be I will make her come or go to the party. 16, Minu heard his favorite singer. What do singers do? Sing or perform. So heard, it has to be something vocal. Gina usually lets her husband pay her bills, do her bills. Lee and Emma saw their cousin Jim get married. All right. Okay, so now we have negative words, not and never, that go before gerunds and infinitives. For example, Sue Ellen pretended not to see her ex-boyfriend at the party, who was there, but she just ignored him. Not to see. Here you couldn't use never because never means not ever. It involves time with no end. B, Henry decided never to go to that restaurant again because the food was terrible. So here you can say Henry decided not to go or never to go, and never works because you're talking about from now until the end of time. So let's try that. 19, Mrs. Ha promised. So choose a verb, put it in the infinitive form, and use not or never. Never or not. To tell her friend's secret. To share her friend's secret. George advised us blank the car because it was too old. Not to buy or get. or drive. Kristen decided blank married because she wanted to focus on her career instead. So not or never to get married because, all right? 22, Tran has agreed blank the office until the security guard arrives. Not to leave. Okay, so that's a look at infinitives. Now let's talk about gerunds, which are verbs with ing added to them. So that tells you what the answer is here. Eating. So a gerund is a verbal noun. It's a noun that is made from a verb by adding ing. So I am eating. What verb form is this? This is the present progressive. So just to be clear, eating here is not a gerund. It's the present participle form. It's a verb. I am eating, I am cooking. All right. Well, we can take eating and use it as a noun. So here I am eating. That's a verb. Eating is important. Eating healthy food is important. Their eating is a noun. Just like we could say nutrition is important. Health is important. Those are clearly nouns. But in the same way, eating is important. Skiing is fun. Dancing is difficult. Eating, skiing, and dancing are gerunds. They're nouns. All right? So after certain verbs, here are some examples: appreciate, avoid, can't help, deny, enjoy, feel like, give up, imagine, mind, postpone, etc. And there are others. You need a gerund. We couldn't help hearing, not to hear. We couldn't help hearing, not hear. We couldn't help hearing our neighbor's argument because they were so loud. And feeding. Cindy enjoyed feeding the ducks at the park. Enjoyed, not to feed or feed, but feeding, the gerund form. So in 23 or 26, choose an appropriate verb and put it in the ing form. Whoops. Do you feel like a movie, watching a movie, or seeing a movie, or making a movie? So we usually use watch with TV, watch TV, watch a movie on TV, but you see a movie at the theater, at the cinema. Would you mind the blind? It's too bright here. The blind, it's, well, you have curtains that come in and blinds that come down to close or to block light that comes in through windows. Would you mind closing the blind, lowering the blind? There's too much light coming in. 25, we have to postpone blank to the beach until a tornado passes. Going to the beach, driving to the beach. 26, Jill gave up blank to her friend because she wouldn't listen. Listen to what? To Jill talk. Gave up talking. All right. Sometimes you can use a gerund or an infinitive, but they mean different things, or they mean the same thing. Again, you just need to experience, practice, use, study, and memorize these different rules. So remember, forget, stop, regret, and try. All right. Whether or not you use an infinitive or a gerund will affect the meaning of what you're saying significantly. Then we have verbs such as hate, love, and like, where you can use a gerund or an infinitive, and there's no difference. My girlfriend hates to watch horror movies. My girlfriend hates watching horror movies. They mean the same thing. Likes to watch, likes watching. But let's look at some examples of sentences where there are different meanings. So choose A or B. So I'm giving you two sentences and two meanings. 29, I remember going to the store. Or I remembered. No, actually, it should be remember. And 30, I remembered to go to the store. So one means I planned to go to the store, and I didn't forget, I went there. And the other means this is a memory. I haven't forgotten what happened. So I remember going to the store. I'm thinking, yeah, I went, I remember. So that's B, it's a memory. I remembered to go to the store. It was a plan, it was on my to-do list, and I did it. So for example, I met you and I remember means I remember meeting you. Okay, now the opposite, we have forget. So Jack forgot going to the store. Jack forgot to go to the store. He had a plan, but he didn't do it. He has no memory of that event. He forgot going to the store. It should be he had no memory. Okay. He had a plan, but he didn't do it. He forgot to go. So for example, Jane needed to go to the bank, but she didn't because she forgot. She forgot to go to the bank. She didn't go. 33 and 34, Hallie stopped smoking. Hallie stopped to smoke. A, she took a cigarette break. She was doing something else and stopped doing it in order to smoke. Or B, she quit and will not smoke anymore. Hallie stopped smoking. It was a habit. She stopped. She has a new habit. She's improving her health. She quit and will not smoke anymore. But she stopped to smoke, meaning she was doing something else, working or whatever, and now she's smoking. Or we could say Hallie used to date Jim, but now she doesn't. She stopped dating him. "35 and 36, we regret telling you that your mother died. We regret to tell you that your mother died. So A, we told you and now we feel bad about it. It's the past. Or B, we are telling you now and we feel bad about it. So we told you and we feel bad that we told you about your mother dying. Maybe it wasn't the right time, or we didn't do it in the right way or at the right place. We regret to tell you that your mother died. We have to tell you, but we don't want to, but you need to know. Or we regret buying that car means we bought a car, but it was a terrible car, or it was too expensive, or we didn't need it or something. 37. Irene tried to tell you a joke, but she couldn't think of one. 38. Irene tried telling me a joke to make me feel better, but I didn't laugh. So A, she told me a joke, but it wasn't funny. You try to do something, but it doesn't work. B, she wanted to tell a joke, but couldn't because she couldn't think of one. So 37A. 37B. We could say Helen tried to open the jar, meaning she wanted to open the jar, but she couldn't because it was too difficult. All right. The form of pronouns before infinitives and gerunds. So use object pronouns before infinitives and possessive pronouns before gerunds. So object pronouns are me, you, him, her, us, and them. And possessive pronouns are my, your, his, her, our, and their. So Mickey wants me to buy him a present for his birthday. Me to buy, me, object, to buy, infinitive. B, me, Sue appreciates my buying him a present. So my is possessive and then the gerund buying. And you will hear and see the object pronoun before gerunds, but that's more informal and casual. Okay, so for 39 to 42, use the clues in the parentheses and use either an object or possessive pronoun. So her husband. So it would be him or his. Jean, that's a woman's name. So it would be her or hers, etc. So 39. Jill expects her husband to pay for dinner. Expects. So we have to pay, in infinitive, we need the object form, him. 40. Jean's husband appreciates Jean doing the dishes. So doing is a gerund, so we need possessive. Her. Here it doesn't really matter because the object is her, give it to her, and the possessive form is her book. So it's the same. 41, we imagined Tom's terrible dancing, his, so dancing is a gerund, so we need the possessive, Tom's or his. And 42, the Jenkins want their daughter to go to university. Their daughter is her, the object form, and her, the possessive. But to be specific here, it's the object because you have an infinitive. Okay, so that's the main grammar. Now we have some vocabulary exercises. Two bonus exercises. So I created these lessons for my Korean students when I was teaching in Korea, and Koreans often have problems with almost, most of, and most, so that's where this comes from. So this hopefully will be helpful for some of my viewers. So what's the difference between those? A, we are almost finished with the test. So we have almost before an adjective, finished. We're done, we're finished, we're tired. B, we almost missed the bus. So almost comes before verbs as well. C, most Koreans like rice and kimchi. So most comes before nouns. And D, almost all of the students are Korean, almost all of, referring to a number, what percent. And E, most of the students are Korean, also before a noun and referring to a percentage. So the difference between most and almost all is that most just means more than 50%, and almost all means 90% or more, a high number like that. So let's try that. Almost, most of, or most. And I've given you some clues. 43, I have read blank the book already. I have about 20 pages left. So you need of, most of. 44, all of my books are about business and traveling, but I have a few novels. Almost all of my books. Sasha blanked the job, but they chose someone else. Came very close. Almost. And 46, the girls are blank, ready for the party. Just wait a few more minutes. Almost ready. And people nowadays have a cell phone. Most people, the majority. And then nouns versus verbs. So we have nation, competition, compete, negotiate, negotiation, separation, separate. The verb is separate. The adjective form would be pronounced separate. I just gave you an answer. Hesitation, hesitate, divide, division, relation, relate, develop, and development. Okay, so separate those words. So the nouns, nation, competition, negotiation, separation, hesitation. Hopefully you see a pattern here. Division, relation, and development. And the rest are verbs. Compete, negotiate, separate. Hopefully you see a pattern here as well. Hesitate, divide, relate, and develop. All right? So nouns or verbs often end in T-I-O-N, S-I-O-N, or M-E-N-T. Nouns, nation, development, division. And nouns or verbs often end in ate or I'd, divide, donate. Verbs. All right, and the last thing, complete the chart. I've given you either the noun or the verb, and you need to write the other or say the other form. Agreement, agree. Invent, oops. Invention, discussion, discuss. Digest, digestion. Amusement, amuse, destroy, destruction. So there's a change there. It's not destruction, it's destruction. Instruction, construct. Retire, retirement, enjoyment, enjoy, development, or development, suggestion, suggest, pay is the verb form, the noun form is payment, instruction is the noun form, the verb form is instruct, decide is the verb form, decision, again, there's a structural change there, termination, and finally, terminate. Okay, so that is it. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'm Jeff Buck. Good luck. Have a good day. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.